Greetings from Snake Mountain Boat Works on Friday, December 30, 2016. Here's a really interesting and incredibly rare little boat. She's a 1942 Century Imperial Sportsman. Not quite 15 feet long. She's in the shop for total restoration. And once we complete this project, what's really interesting is we will send her back to her owner, who lives just outside of Manistee, Michigan, the home of Century, of course. So RJ went through and stripped the entire hull on the outside. What you don't know is when we started the top sides were, what, RJ? They're basically black, right?
Yes. These are really black. If I could flip it over, I could almost show you the color of it, but you'll see in time. I'm not really sure. I'm pretty sure they stained it black, like a black stain, but I'm not sure if that's actually what they did or if it was just from being bare for so long that it actually aged the wood and darkened the wood. But I scrubbed it with a 1850 paint stripper and a scrub brush, metal scrubby pad, and I got most of the color out. A lot more will come out when I sand it, but we're hoping to varnish these top sides and make them bright. So
she's a really original boat, which is amazing given her age, 1942, pre-war. You can see that one plank has been replaced over the years, but she's not without some issues. We'll just let RJ, we can maybe start on this top side right below the...
This top plank on the top side is pretty tender. It's been split along here and all the way up through.
So we'll release the rub rail to get to it, right?
Yes, we have to release these rubber rails all the way around. This is right here.
Yep.
And
it looks like up here, RJ, the fasteners have failed.
yeah, pretty much in the whole boat, the side planks, the screws have loosened up. You can move it through a lot of the side of the boat here, which is part of the reason it broke, is because it got loose and
Right.
flexed a little too much. And I think a lot of weight was actually put on the deck here at one point. Not positive, but that seems like it got compressed.
So we'll remove these splash rails.
Yep, these splash rails, they're screwed from the outside. We'll pop these bungs out and release the splash rail, and then we'll be able to sand the bottom and the side all nice.
And also seal the splash rail when we...
Behind it.
Yeah.
When we put it back on, we'll 5200 it on.
Right.
So that it's watertight. When I strip the bottom of the stripper and the scraper, I noticed that there's a lot of deformation. The boards are raised up really bad right through here on both sides. The other side's a lot worse actually, but I think that the boat was dried out and they put sealer in, and then it expanded and buckled the board and popped some filler loose.
So we should be able to release the fasteners on the lower edge if we had her right side up, and at the ribs back. Oh yeah, you can. It's almost impossible to see it, but the this plank really rolls, and it's buckled up here. Well, there. Now you can see it. So what we have to do... It's up, yep.
There's quite a gap on it. It should be flat all the way
we will release this entire edge all the way back, even the new plank and the old plank, and then clean out all of whatever this is that's in this seam. And
it's white 5200.
yeah, it looks like it. That doesn't make me smile, but the bottom really rocks and rolls. That I would not return this boat to her owner in this condition.
We'll try to put something on here and flatten that out once we get the filler out, and then anchor some new big screws in the frames.
But the strategy we're going to employ is to put a fence on the edge of this new plank, because it's sitting very flat and very firm, and then take a plunge router with a very, very fine bit in it. We'll probably use that Dremel plunge router we have.
Yep.
And just try to take off as little as we have to.
About an 1/8 inch probably most of the way through.
And then we'll be able to reattach the plank. And we have the same issue on this side. In fact, on this side, it's so severe that you can see that it's actually splitting.
Right, it rocks right here.
Yeah, it certainly rocks and rolls. This is a great big hump. And this one, I don't know. We may have to actually release the entire plank and just take it right off the boat, address these splits. Now, why aren't we just putting a new piece of mahogany in? Well, Snake Mountain Boat Works puts a premium on preservation, not making spiffy new boats out of old boats. So we will save this piece of wood. This plank is full length, absolutely savable. And then we have something very interesting to share with you on the transom, which is absolutely original to the boat, but a very interesting example just before World War II, when materials were getting hard to come by. What Century did on this boat to make, here's the transom I'm willing to bet you've never seen before. Its dimensions are correct from bottom to top on both sides.
From here. From here.
They absolutely match. But if you'll look at the chartreuse gaffer's tape, you'll see that we have a rather interesting situation. That distance is what, RJ?
7 3/4.
All right, and if we go to the port side?
Is 8 7/16.
8 7/16. So in fact, this seam is not square to the top of the transom. It's not square to the boat, but it's the wood they had, and it was the wood they used. We're not going to tear this whole boat apart just to make that seam nice and square with everything else. The transom is square. We do have some challenges. We've got an old split here, and we have an old split there, but look at what else we have. Yes, I know it's upside down, so just stand on your heads and watch the video. D4207, RJ?
Yep.
The hull number is still, which was originally stamped in this transom, remains visible right where it was stamped in 1942 when this boat left the Manistee plant. So this is the original transom. And actually her owner has something very unique and very special in the fact that Century simply did what it could with what it had at that moment. We're not going to rip that out, lose that hull number, and make her nice and shiny and new and square everywhere. The transom is correct, and that's the transom she's going to live with. The one thing we probably will not replace, I think you can see it there, is somebody scabbed on a a piece of, is that plywood or is it mahogany?
It's mahogany. It's a very thin piece of mahogany.
Yep.
It's about not even 3/8 thick.
We'll do some research, but I mean, it's long since split into two.
The angles are totally off.
Yeah.
It's actually,
I'm pretty sure that piece did not come out of the Century plant. I think that was, somebody had been reading Home Mechanics or something at some point and decided it'd be really cool to add a little extra thickness to the transom where the motor mounted. But that's where we are on December 30th with the 1942 15-foot Century Imperial Sportsman. Thank you so much. Happy New Year. And we'll be back to you in 2017. Bye-bye for now.